veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
wow, welcome back. Welcome back to Actually Aubrey, our panel for Married at First Sight, season 15 in San Diego. Episode 15, Are You My Person? How are you doing, Nicole? You can keep your mic unmuted. How you doing?
Hey.
Hey. Ooh, hey, how you doing? Everything okay with you?
Yes, I'm great. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, Ellen V. Hey there. Hi, all our A-Team members. Ellen V is an A-Team member and also moderator extraordinaire. Welcome on into the house. Come on in, guys. Come on in. We're getting ready to get into it. I think this episode, what did you think of, just briefly, what did you think of this episode of Married at First Sight?
I want to speak to the producers.
Okay, just pretend. Okay, let's say you had them for like 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them? What would you say? Pretend like you're speaking directly to the producer.
I would say, hey, you probably don't know me, but you're going to get to know me. My name is Nicole. And I would just like you to know that I love the show. You know, it's a great concept, but I think we need to revamp this admissions process.
Yes. How so? How would they revamp it?
I feel, and you tell me what you think, because I really want to know your opinion. I feel like they pick people who they know are going to have to work really hard at their relationships. And I feel, why not put together people, or I don't know. It's like, I know it's TV. Don't get me wrong. I know it's TV and you need some ratings and stuff like that. So you need a little friction, but that happens in life anyway. They get people that I seem are so not put together correctly.
Well, like, are they underdeveloped? Are they immature? I mean, like, do you see let's say, just taking this cast for this season. I know you watched previous seasons, but let's just say the cast for this season. Do you see a pattern of some sort?
Kind of. I feel like it was a lot of people who were not emotionally available. Like they think they are, but then when they get into the thick of it, they're really not.
Like an example, for example, like who do you see? Give me one person or two people that you see exhibiting those behaviors.
It's Alexis, right?
I'm sorry. Okay, what about Alexis?
Like, I love her. I think she's a beautiful chocolate queen, you know. Yeah. But to me, I feel like she's going to resent him because I feel like she's swallowing so much of herself down. I feel like she's going to resent him.
Okay, we're going to get into that in a minute. Yeah, because I can see that too. And I can see why she will maybe come to resent him, you know, because there's some things he's doing and saying I don't particularly care for. I think that one of the things that I see to what you were saying, I see some people that are highly, they're not self-reflective. In my opinion, I feel like they're not self-reflective enough. Some of them are very selfish, i.e. Alexis. i.e. Mitch, and i.e. I think Miguel and his wife Lindy. Okay, I think
Mhm.
these are all people that are very selfish and self-centered, and that in a marriage does not work. So
No.
we know when we send toddlers to school, when we go to kindergarten, we learn to share, play together nicely. These are like somebody wrote that book about, everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. It's true. It's true if you really stop and think about it, but when we become adults, sometimes we forget those things. We
Mhm.
forget to share, we forget to have common decency, and it's all about, in some of these characters, it's all about me, 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 me.
Yeah.
Lindy is about me. Miguel seems to be very controlling and very Latino machismo, but we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. And I'm just dropping some of these links. Thank you so much, Ellen V, for throwing the links up for Nicole's both her channels.
Yes,
Uh,
thanks,
uh,
Ellen.
yeah, the Nicole, and of course, hashtag on everything, official page. So we know that. Well, let me go ahead and throw up our first character today that we're going to talk about. Hey, stay tuned. Hey, hi vibe. Hey, stay tuned reviews, and somebody else I saw in here, high vibe, and I saw somebody else, but I don't see them right now. But I'm gonna go over here and grab our pictures. We're gonna start with this couple right here, and that would be Kristen and Mitch. Oh my lord, we saw a little bit of them this week, and they seem to be okay. Apparently, Mitch had to go out to a conference and decided to take his well, we'll come to that in another second. But Mitch was at a conference, and Mitch, I don't know, if Mitch just intentionally just blabbers out things and doesn't consider his spouse's feelings. What do you think? Because I don't know about him sometimes.
He's very, very, very awkward. But I
Yeah.
feel like it's a difference between awkward and completely out of touch.
Is he one or both of those? Because I can
He's
see where maybe he could.
completely out of touch.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I agree because I was just about to say I do agree. I see him as being again, I feel like Mitch, people say, well, he's not a bad guy. Well, no, if you don't think a bad person or a bad guy is someone who only views things through their own lens. They have no empathy for their partner. They don't consider their partner, and they just say the first thing on the top of their mouth. I thought we all learned that as children, that you can't say everything that you think.
Right.
It's just not good social etiquette. And not only that, so you could say, well, politically correct, some people change how they say it, but here's the thing. How about this? If you want to have friends and you want to have family that actually like and respect you, you're not going to say everything that you think.
Right.
But what do you think this couple, they seem to be kind of getting along, because Mitch actually confessed that he missed his two gals. He missed Luna, he missed Kristen. What did you think about that?
You missed them so much that you took your wedding ring off at first.
I wasn't gonna say. I wasn't gonna say. And then when she asked him where his ring was, it was right there. I guess they were in the car later on in this episode. We see them in the
Hmm.
car, and she's like, "Well, did you leave your ring at home?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's right here." I was like, you know what? That is an old player's move. Take your ring off in the car.
Right.
Because like when you leave in the house, you want your wife to see that you still got it on, right? But you're going out by yourself, or maybe you're picking up your friends or meeting your friends at the bar or wherever, and you take your ring off, and you put it in that the little cubby hole right there, by your in the middle of the little console. And then later, before you go back in the house, you put it back on your. That I've seen that. I've seen that before. I said, now that's really interesting, because Mitch, who we know has been supposedly celibate for a year and a half, hasn't been in a relationship for 5, 6, 7 years. Like, who the heck really wants you? And now all of a sudden, you taking your ring off, dude.
Listen, I'm totally against lying, black lies, white lies, whatever. I'm totally against it. However, in a relationship, you know how people be like, lie to me. Hey, Kirby, my friend of me. Okay. You know how people say lie to me? I feel like when she asked about the other women, He should have lied right there. He just was like, oh, it's always cute girls around. This is the
Yeah,
same woman who's been struggling about being attracted to you, and you
exactly.
tell her that?
Mm-hmm. Or either I'll say, you know what, or either this, say less. Sometimes Mitch just talks too much. Just talks too darn much. Say less. Say, oh well,
Yes.
yeah, there were some women there. You don't have to go into how beautiful they were. They all had perfect figures. They all look like Superman. Same way as a woman. If I'm talking to my husband and maybe I'm at a conference, same thing. There might be a bunch of handsome doctors there. Do you think I'm gonna say that to him? Really?
Right.
Come on, just common sense. But Mitch seems to be lacking in all those departments. Common sense, honey. Common sense. And it's not like you're such a good looker yourself. Like I said again, the only thing to me, I said, you know what? Now, in one way, I did think the two things that he said. He said he took the ring off because he didn't want to answer a lot of questions. He didn't want to explain being on Married at First Sight. I could kind of see that. And I also
Mm-mm.
can
No.
kind of, well, hold on, but let me just say, but I can also see, I do have friends, platonic friends who are happily married, and for their own choices and reasons, they do not wear their wedding bands, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much ever. So their wives know that they don't wear them. So it's not like they put them on at sometimes when they're with their wives and then take them off when they're not. You know what I'm saying? They don't wear them ever. So I have heard from married men, happily married men, that sometimes a wedding band on a man's finger, even the most repulsive, average, plain, low budget man, can make him become very desirable in some circles. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but I could see there being some truth to that. I could also understand him saying perhaps that he didn't want to answer a lot of questions about being on a show and having to explain that. But somebody said it also, another YouTuber, I forget, I'm sorry, because I love to give credit to the person, but I cannot think of who it was, that said, you know what, he could have wore his wedding band and just said, you know what, yeah, you didn't know I was dating, oh yeah, I got married, we'll talk later, and left it at that.
Exactly.
you know
And that is exactly what I was gonna say. Like, there's just no excuse for anything, to be honest. It's either you're with it, you're not, you did it right, or you did it wrong. There's no in between for me.
Oh, Kirby, you're a mess. Kirby says, and I can't read all of this on the air, but Kirby basically says Mitch didn't cheat. He says too many dumb things and talks his way out of getting some loving at home. I'm going to put my own words in right there. And he can't read the room. I'm sorry. Did I say Kirby? I said Kirby said this because I'm looking at Kirby's picture. Stay tuned review said this, right? Yeah, he really can't read the room. But not only can Mitch not read the room, I think it's because he chooses not to. Mitch tells us the story. If we go back to his childhood, he's just a person that has always lived and did what he wanted to do. He didn't have structure at home. He didn't have structure in school. He's kind of a fly by the seat of your pants. We saw his house. Clearly he doesn't clean his house. He's not really an adult. He's actually a kid in a 40-year-old plus body is what I see it as. He's actually a kid and everything. So if a woman wants to like build her a man or build her husband, then Mitch is your guy. But other than that, I wouldn't want him. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't want him. You couldn't sell him to me. You couldn't give Mitch away to me for a husband or a spouse. Um,
I'm gonna tell
hi,
you what.
oh, go ahead.
I knew that Mitch was going to be a problem the very first episode when they were getting ready to walk down the aisle and his friends were like fawning over him like he was a groomzilla and he got upset about the haircut.
Exactly. Didn't we all know he was going to be in trouble? Right. Like what? And could you imagine how he went off on that lady? But could you imagine had it been the other lady that he ended up seeing, the black lady? He wouldn't have
Mhm.
did that with her. He wouldn't. I bet you he wouldn't have went off with her like that. Like she would have been like, mm-mm. It would have. There would have been repercussions. There would have been repercussions. But see, he knows who he can get away with that mess with.
Mhm.
Same thing with Lindy later on. Lindy is another one that has grown up very privileged, and she kind of reminds me of a Karen. She really does, with all
Oh.
that crying, all that. Oh, I want my way. Give me my way. Give me my way. Big old baby. Girl, get out of here.
Oh, I am tickled.
But But you know what? It was cute that later on when they got together, when Mitch returned home, what did you think about the the dog Luna on the surfboard? That was kind of cute.
That honestly is probably the cutest aspect of their relationship.
Is the dog? Oh my lord!
Yes. And I am not a dog person.
Oh my goodness! Really? Oh my goodness! Do you think that Kristen wants to keep Mitch? What do you think? Do you think she wants to keep him? Because we know we're coming up on
Um,
decision day very quickly.
You know what's funny is I want to say no, but looking at the screen and having to believe my eyes, I feel like she wants to make it work. Now, does she want to make it work because she's tired of trying, or is it that she's really into him? I think we have to see
Yeah.
what she says on
But
decision day, but it looks like she's trying hard to make it work.
yeah, it seems like to me almost too hard. I think that she makes the mistake, like maybe things, because to me they're both quirky and they both
Mhm.
have their insecurities, and they seem to kind of understand as they've gone along now a little farther into it, the season. They seem to kind of understand that they both have and we all. I'm not saying that I don't have insecurities, that other people don't have insecurities. So I think there's a chance. But my thing is with Kristen, if I could tell her anything, I would say to her, Kristen, listen, you have to address these digs or these awkward things that he says, or these things that he says that hurt your feelings. You have to address them in the moment. And then
Right.
that way you can be calm about it, and you can have a conversation about it or a brief chat about it, and he can maybe get it, because he's like a little child. And if you know anything about training children, oftentimes you have to tell them the rule more than once, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you're teaching them a rule because they're new to the world. So you have to teach them what your rules are in your home and whatever, and then they get it. But don't wait until you have a blow up. That's just more stress on you and him.
I
I,
have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that it's kind of how I'm feeling that she's giving up too much of herself and he's not really giving up of himself?
Wait a minute, say that one more time, please.
Like to me, it seems unlevel. Like it seems like she's making all these concessions and doing all of these things to make him comfortable, but
Yes,
it's not really like he's doing the same.
exactly. Yes, yes, I absolutely agree. Yes, I do think that. I do see that, and that's what I'm saying. I think that she needs to stay on him about the things that he could do that would make their marriage and their relationship more enjoyable for her to see,
Right.
because this is like supposedly, according to the concept of the show, right? They have 8 weeks, or basically 2 months, to figure out if they're going to stay married. I would have wanted to have seen that. So starting on day one, maybe the first week, the honeymoon, and a couple of days after the honeymoon, I would have given him a certain amount of grace, right? But let's say
Right.
we're back on day three. We're now back into our regular lives. We're back in San Diego. I would gently start, like when he says and does certain things, I would really call him to the carpet on it. You know, I wouldn't wait until I had to have a blow up. Yeah, he does need to change a lot of things, and she does seem to be the one that's doing all the backflips, somersaults, pretzel twisting to make him happy. But um Kristen just seems to really be a person that has recognized that in the marketplace, women don't have the high market value sometimes that they think they do, no matter how attractive they are, no matter how good a job they may have. It is men that do the picking, and then women get to decide if we want that person, that man that picked us, right? We decide whether we want to say yes or no to a relationship, a marriage, or whatever that thing is. And I think that Kristen has at least figured that part of it out, but she hasn't figured out that, like a lot of us as Black women would say, you know what, I can do bad all by myself, or I can do good by myself. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't need a man to complete me. I can be totally happy, in my singleness. She
Yeah.
doesn't seem to have that kind of backbone. But we're going to press on ahead to the next couple,
Okay.
and that would be these people right here. Stasha and Nate. Stasha and Nate. And girl, what did you think, girl, when they went to go look at Stasha's new home that she has built? And people crack me up if I heard this say it 1,000 times. She built it from the ground up. She built it from. Well, where else would you build it from? From a tree branch up? Would it be a tree house? Where else are you gonna build it from? But from the ground up. But anyway, she has this house that she's built. She's got this stark white carpet in it. And Nate, he comes in there and he's like, Nate, one thing about Nate and Justin throughout this series, they act like they have never been nowhere in their entire lives. If you notice, when they went to the honeymoon, when they went to the resort, they act like they have never seen nothing, like they've never been outside of San Diego in their whole lives. I'm sorry, I just have to say it. It just cracks me up. But I really thought the house, it was nice, but I guess I've seen, friends' homes and other people's homes that were really, really put together, and I was like, okay, and what? Like, okay, it's basically just a new build, is all it is. But anyway, Nate, he was so excited, he was in the shower, he was in the which I did like that part, the stand-up shower, and he was, pretending to bathe himself. And she was basically looking at him like the way I was thinking, like, boy, you are crazy. What's wrong with you? What were your thoughts, Alexis?
Oh no.
Oh no. What happened? What?
Did you hear what you said? You got so into the show. You called me Alexis.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I'm gonna fall out, girl. Stop it. I didn't mean that. Oh no, not at all. Not at all. And she, like you said, she is a beautiful chocolate woman, but no, you are Nicole. I'm sorry. Girl, I'm on this board looking at so many names. I'm sorry. What did you think, Nicole? What did you think?
Well, I could not wait until today because I was like, I can't wait to talk to Aubrey about this because, in our previous panels we've had, I haven't really been seeing the opportunist side. I haven't really been seeing the details that you've been seeing, but I definitely saw it in this past episode when he was like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be homeless. And I just was looking at him in a totally different light this episode.
Yeah, because why would you be homeless? Like the same money you pay for rent, you would go back out there and use your same good credit and get you another apartment, dude. What's up?
Right.
What's up?
They kind of gave me big sister, little brother vibes this episode. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, you know what? I like the way you thought about that. And you said big sister, little brother. You didn't say mom and son. So I like that. You didn't put it that way. I do appreciate that. But yeah, and I also saw, I have to, two things can be true at the same time, because I've been saying that to me, Nate, both of them, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. I think both of them are transactional because, quite frankly, I feel like Stasha, much like Kristen, is a woman of a certain age, and in San Diego and California, and in case you guys aren't familiar. Now, I've never lived in California, but I do have friends in the film industry out in California. It is a very, a place where, where you think somebody that's beautiful or attractive in regular terms throughout the rest of the country, in California, you have to be 10 times prettier. I don't know how to say that, but you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many plastic surgeons, there's so many models, there's so many actresses, and all these folks look good and they are thin and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? That so-called, that cookie cutter look, that Barbie doll look. Okay, so I feel like Stasha, she has recognized that at her advanced age, in her late 30s, and guys, I know you're gonna say, oh, that's young. Yeah, because I'm 50 plus, so I wish I could go back and do that age again to some degree, but what she has recognized, but see, at that age I already had my children, right? My children, and they were moving on into, they were because I had my children young. I had them in my 20s. So now here's a woman that's late 30s, doesn't have any children, and now has decided that now that she got her career together and she done built her house from the ground up, you know, that now she's, oh, I got an opportunity for this husband. Maybe I'll go ahead and do this show, Married at First Sight. Oh, he's cute. I like him. I'm attracted. Oh, we're good in bed together. Okay, we should have some children. Let's hurry up and have some children. And of course, we see the play between them. Nate is like, I want to do this and I want to do that. I'm not trying to have no children right now. But see, Nate, that's why you marry somebody in their 20s when you're in your, he's in his mid 30s, right? That's why you marry somebody in their late 20s when you're that age if you were picking your wife. But since you didn't pick your wife and you got an older wife, you got to consider what she's saying. And she's already at a high risk category age wise. They call it geriatric pregnancy. Oh, no, she's not. No, it's what it's called. She's not 50 or 60, but for a pregnancy, because we know women can have children as young as in their teens and tweens, 12, 13 years old, you could start having a baby, right? But now you're in your late 30s trying to have your first child. Okay, so I feel like she's transactional. I feel like Nate's transactional. I feel like Nate wants to live the good life. That's why he's always running around talking about we're going to be a power couple. And I keep looking at him saying, power couple, don't you mean power single plus one, her and you? She's the power person. You just regular. You just regular, dude.
Oh wow!
I mean, let's get real. You just regular. You make 100 something, 15,000 or whatever a year in California. That's regular to almost poverty in California. Now here in Michigan, different story. But you're in California, dude. Let's be real. It takes 4 or 5 times what it takes to live anywhere else in the country outside of New York to live in California. So you just regular. We saw his apartment. He's just regular. Okay. So now how you talking about power couple? I'm not understanding. They both seem transactional. He wants to live in that brand new place and she wants babies out of him. So they're both, in my opinion, there's a lot of transactional between them. But all that being said, they're having good sex out of all the couples on the show. So they're actually, oh, I'm not supposed to say, okay, they're having good hot and heavy time. And they actually seem to be having fun when they're not talking about children. What did you think about this whole concept that Nate had about having children and that she was going to be out drinking and partying and all this other kind of stuff?
First, I just have to give you your flowers for that reading that you just gave. You read you read him up and down the episode just now. But as far as transactional, I have to disagree. I feel that she is like way into this more than he is, which is going to benefit him. Because, like I said on this episode, I've really looked at him in a different light, because I like to listen to other people's perspectives, because, I like to just look at things from all angles. And I definitely can see what you guys are talking about. And I hope that he doesn't hurt her, because that's what I see on the horizon is that she's going to sink into him because let's just be real. It's marriage at first sight. So they're already married. They don't have to get over that hurdle. And now they've already been experimenting with the hot and heavy time. She is going to fall for him way faster than he's falling for her.
Well, yeah, there's some truth to that because women do tend to follow, yeah, in that way with men when they're intimate with them. I agree with you on that. Do you think that Nate is fair in trying to make this assessment about children and not having fun? Because on the one hand, we know that Stasha's saying, we can travel, we can do this and that with children, and he's saying, no, we can't. You don't do all that with children. Which way? You're a mother and I'm a mom. So tell me from your perspective. Do you see that being realistic, some of what she's saying about traveling and still having date nights? And I'm going to keep this carpet just as white with these children because I'm going to teach them not to come into the living room and the dining room. I mean, do you buy that?
When she said that, I was like, oh, yes, you are absolutely someone who's never had kids. You can't have nieces or nephews, little cousins, or none of that. Because ain't that much watching in the world. Because as soon as you turn your back is when the white room is going to be covered in handprints. So I don't think either one of them are ready for kids. Like she can desire kids, but just because you desire something doesn't mean you're ready for it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. I just see, yeah, Stasha, you're right. I'm wondering because I haven't heard her mention any siblings. I believe she said she was the only child.
Hmm.
So
I
right,
believe
so
so.
yeah, so possibly no, young nieces and nephews that she's maybe babysat with or had around for the weekend to really understand. We can all have concepts of what a baby is actually like. Babies like to, at least the way I remember mine, and others that I kept, babies tend to, have stomach issues and throw up stuff quite frequently, and a lot of that stuff, trust me, is very hard to get out if you have a certain light color material, upholstery or sofa or whatever. It's very difficult to get out. um, and then too, I guess I just think about this, when kids are toddlers is a time for them to have fun and to explore.
Hmm.
You want them to be safe. To me, it's more important that they be safe and that they learn and that they do explore their environment while you're, watching their every move and, being active with them. But you don't want them to be so concerned. You're so concerned about your stark white carpet that you got to go, bananas because they threw up and they had an accident or they spilled a juice thing, whatever. I like, really, I don't understand that concept that you're gonna stymie your kids like that. Who wants to live in a museum where you can't touch anything, you can't sit down on your own furniture? That's, I think what happened, do you think, let me ask you this, Nicole, and I'm gonna focus on getting these names right. Nicole, do you think that, because this is what I've been thinking too, that a possibility that maybe when Stasha started building this home from the ground up, you know, uh, maybe that, what it was at this point, she basically had given up on that she was going to find a husband and that she was going to have children, right? And so she put it, like, okay, well, what are my aesthetics? Oh yeah, I like white carpet. Oh yeah, I like, black and white. I like this and that and the other thing. And this is the vision that she had in her mind with no children and no husband, you know what I'm saying? And now this show comes along and oh yeah, she kind of likes Nate and now she's thinking about babies and children, but when she built that house, that wasn't the vision that she had. You follow what I'm saying? Did that occur to you at all, or what were your thoughts on that?
I hear what you're saying, but I don't think that way. I think that she's always thought of this, but she gives me the type of person who views kids as accessories. Because
Mm.
when you're in love with somebody, it's not, you don't walk into it, I'm going to have a child and I need a child by this amount of date. When you're really in love with somebody, it turns into, I want to have your baby.
Mm. Well, you know what? Roro asked an important question. She said, "Well, what about the nannies?" And she said, "That's what the nanny and the housekeepers are for." I kind of tend to agree that they're. I don't know about the nanny part of it because I'd really want to be more hands on. But then again, Stasha is this high power businesswoman, so she's gonna only have so many hours maybe to devote to children. So she may need very well need a nanny. That's fine. But the housekeepers, yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, well, why be so bent on a certain way of the house has got to be a certain way? You got all this money, pay somebody to come in daily and straighten things up for you, what you don't straighten up yourself, you and your husband, right?
Listen, my heart will go out to that housekeeper because she gives me one of those that's going to follow the housekeeper around and say, no, remember I said do it like this. Oh no. Oh no, we put this over here. I wouldn't, man, what?
Kind of like the way she's kind of trying to tell Nate in this scene where
Exactly.
she's telling him, I'm going to have stickers. She called it a gift at first. She said, I've got a gift for you for the bathroom. And basically she ended up telling him she's going to put a sticker on the toilet seat to remind him to put the toilet seat down when he finishes
Exactly.
doing his number one, like, I'm like, girl.
And what grown man is going to live like that forever?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was kind of some of what she was saying was a little insulting to me to him. You know, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I like the way you said it, big sister, little brother vibes,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I was getting a little bit of the mommy thing too, which I think is gonna kind of tee Nate off, because we all know that he didn't have a good relationship with his mom. So
Exactly.
that's going to tee him off. And I think also when she was bringing up children, I felt like that was a trigger for him, and he does need to seek out a therapist and some counseling, because I think that he didn't really seem to even really be open to children, like he's the kind of man that would just keep putting it off, like like maybe Samson from Ready to Love, like be 48 and still be thinking about, well, I think I want to have children, I do like children, but maybe someday. And here Stasha is, she'd be like 40, like she'd be 50 something, she'd be like, oh well, it's too late for me.
But on the flip side,
Hmm.
you like children a little bit, sir, because you're doing all the activities to make one.
Ooh, well, you know how men are. They like the activities. That don't necessarily mean they like the children for a responsibility. Now, let's be for real. Kirby, what are you saying? Stasha is not going to have any time for her. Why do you say that, Kirby? Because she's that high power businesswoman. That Nate keeps talking about, that power woman, and he wants to be her power man. But we're gonna slide on over here to this couple. Girl, we really got to get into it about them. What about this episode, girl? Was it heartbreaking or what?
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Justin, and I
goodness.
know you said you're not a dog person. I am, by the way, a dog and a cat person. But Justin, we see that Justin has invited his best friend, who had to come all the way from Colorado in his car, so that he could take this dog back. Which, by the way, I didn't realize that dog Maya was so beautiful. Is it Maya?
I think so. Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maya was so beautiful. I didn't remember, because from the scene last I saw of her, she had her teeth out and she was biting on something, so I couldn't see how beautiful she was. But they had her all groomed and she looked so good, and she looked highly intelligent. There was one point, I don't know if this is editing, when they did the dog where she had her head like she was questioning Alexis, looking at Alexis like, "What you say,
That
Alexis?"
probably was real time. That probably was real time.
But tell me, what were your thoughts about this scene, though? I mean, this is kind of
Listen,
heartbreaking.
listen. I am not a dog person. I will never be, but that is a story for another day. I've
Okay.
been traumatized when it comes to dogs,
Oh, okay.
but um, my heart goes out to him though, because while we're talking about Mitch and not making concessions for his wife,
Hmm.
Justin is giving all the concessions for his wife. And so if this doesn't work out and the heartbreak, that because I know that even though I don't like dogs, people revere their dogs as family.
Hmm.
And that was just heartbreaking because he said he
It was
had that
sad.
dog since she was a puppy, and let's just be real. Like, let's be honest about the whole dog meeting up thing. It was not done correctly.
No, it was not. Yeah, I said
So
that
that's on
one of our
both of
earlier.
them, not just him.
Oh no, I said that earlier. I think you hadn't joined our panel at that point.
Oh, okay.
Nicole, you had not joined our panel at that point, because that was like one of the earlier, episodes. But yeah, we,
Hmm.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Kimberly reviews. We talked about that. How and shout out to our other panelists. Let's talk with India and Igor. Yeah, we talked about that was absolutely done incorrectly. I mean, they could have Googled it and they would have found a clear answer. And actually, not to be funny, but I'm wondering like how Peter did not get on the people at Lifetime and the people at Married at First Sight, because that was very wrong. You don't do that in a space where the dog currently exists. You go out into a neutral place, a dog
Right.
park or something like that. Yeah,
Because he
I thought
already
everybody should do
mentioned
that.
that the dog has had to protect him before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He said that, but and that's the thing. Justin, now, if you watched it, I think that I got the impression that Justin was not completely forthcoming to Alexis, and that's where Alexis was upset with him, because he didn't tell her that that dog had been involved in other incidences of, yeah, he didn't tell her that his dog had been involved in other incidences of aggression. I'll say that, okay? He
But
didn't
was
tell
the other incident of aggression when the dog had to protect him, or
Mm,
was it a separate?
I don't know. Now that's a good question. I
Mhm.
don't know that, but yeah, but there seem to have been later on, we find out like an episode or two later that he does
Yeah.
confess, Justin does confess that there were other incidents. And now what they were for, he may have said that, but I don't know if you picked up on this, but this is my impression. And
Mhm.
again, not to put anybody down, but I feel like Justin is a wee bit of a liar. He's a liar, and Alexis has a truth telling problem. She's a liar too.
I
So
think that.
they
Oh, go
kind of
ahead. I'm
fit.
sorry.
Yeah, no, but they kind of fit together. When you don't tell somebody, so lying could be you lie by telling an untruth, but lying can also be when you omit the truth,
Yeah.
right? So when I ask you about your dog, and we know, and you know that we're getting ready to live together, we're married, and we're now getting ready to live in this small little, not even a house, not even a small house, but actually an apartment, which means that you got to go through hallways and get on elevators or go down steps before you can even get outside. So I always view an apartment, I mean, really, it's a small space unless you got a
Mhm.
huge, penthouse or something like that, right? And you're
Mhm.
going to bring two strange dogs together, and you're not telling me the truth that your dog had an aggressive episode, more than one. I thought it was plural, so more than one. You're not telling me that, so that means that you're lying by omission, and that's a problem. That's a problem.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at Stay Tuned Review. She said that Justin needs to bring Maya
He
to decision day.
he's it's a guy. Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Now,
Yep.
is it just me, or I feel like they roles are reversed, and I feel that that is going to make Alexis resent him or just walk away because she want to be a woman. But I mean, no disrespect when I say what I'm going to say, but I stand 10 toes down. And Alexis is the man of their relationship.
Exactly. We see that. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But it's like it's to me, it's like she wants to be two things at the same time, and it's kind of impossible. So, like you want to have masculine energy, alpha energy, and you want to be treated like a lady at the same time. It's kind of like virtually impossible. You're
Right.
not allowing space for him to be the masculine one, the lead. But then again, to be fair too, I don't see Justin having that type of capability at this point. I see him as a poor decision maker. So that's
Mhm.
one. So you cannot be a leader if you're always making poor decisions. You do not inspire somebody to trust you to lead when you're making poor decisions. He's not a good communicator. He says so even himself, that he gets stumpified and stupefied. And I think part of that is to be fair, I feel like Alexis, and I said this early on also. I don't think you had joined the panel at this time, but I said early on that Alexis is the one gaslighting Justin. Alexis is coming across as somebody that is possibly potentially a narcissist because she's always putting him down. She's always gaslighting him. She's always talking in circles. Okay. So
Okay,
it's
can
kind
I
of
pause you real quick?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Was I
We
getting
need a
caught
little
up?
education. We need a little education time right now because y'all gotta forgive me. Y'all know I don't like labels. So can
Hmm.
you explain to me exactly what is gaslighting? Like what is the exact definition? Because like a lot of people say it and I know some people use it wrong. So could you explain to me like what exactly is gaslighting?
Gaslighting is when you're doing something to a person, you're behaving in a certain way, or you're saying certain things, and then you come back and you basically say like, 1 minute I'm saying this about you, I'm saying you're a bad person, I'm saying I don't like you, I don't plan on being with you. Then you
Mhm.
come back and say it, and I say, oh no, that's not what I said. Oh, I meant this. I meant that, whatever, and you change it up. She does
So
that
is
to
that kind of like what Lindy did when she was upset and she snapped at him, but then she was like, I'm just joking?
um I'm not sure if she gaslit him in that way. I feel like you know what? She is manipulative too. So you're right. So
Mhm.
she could be gaslighting him, but I feel like not every time. Sometimes people are poor communicators,
Mhm.
but that's we're gonna get to them. We're coming up on them. So can we save that for when we
Yeah,
get to them? Okay,
sure.
bring that back to my
I just
remembrance.
didn't want to say
But
whether I agree or disagree because I really don't
yeah, but I
know.
feel like yeah. So I feel like getting back to your initial question about Alexis and what I mean by gaslighting, or what my definition is that, anytime you take a situation and you take something that you're doing and you turn it around on the person, um and you're not doing it, you want to make them feel like they're going crazy, like they're
Mhm.
misunderstanding, like they're naive, like they're unclear, that they didn't understand what you really truly meant. She's done that several times to Justin. And then the other thing that she does is, well, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to embarrass you.
Mhm.
But she's constantly embarrassing him from the first day. Let's go back and look at the wedding day, right? At the reception,
Mhm.
what it was the first thing that she did when he told her privately, one on one. He's sitting next to her. I mean, there were certainly other people in the room, but he was speaking to her. Nobody else really probably overheard him. And he said, I've been celibate. Okay. And what does she do? She shouts out to everybody, Justin is celibate. Justin is
Mhm.
celibate. Like, who does that? Just like a woman should be covered in, a wife should be covered in her marriage by her husband, right? A
Yeah.
wife also has a certain responsibility to give her husband a certain level of respect publicly.
Yes.
She never does that. She talks about his sex in bed to the women. She talks about it. I mean,
And
like,
also to his face in the
it's
car when
about
they were coming back, she was like, "Can they help you with thrusting?" And did you
now.
see his poor face?
I will say this. Hold on. Now, if what you say, I don't have a problem if I'm a woman and I'm married to a man. I don't have a problem explaining to my husband, and I have to do a whole separate take on this. I don't understand how women end up with men who don't make them happy in bed, because I figured
Right.
this out a long time ago. How you know for a fact a man is going to make you happy in bed well before you have intercourse with him. I don't understand how women don't know this, but that's okay. Everybody's not as gifted as some of us are. But what I don't understand, what I don't have a problem with, I'm sorry, what I don't have a problem with is her telling him her desires or her needs. So I don't have a problem with her necessarily one on one, because that's where you should be having conversations one on one with your partner about your intimacy. You should be having those intimate conversations privately, I feel,
It
unless you're
wasn't the message, it was the delivery.
it was the delivery. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was it? What did you feel about her delivery in that moment?
I felt like it was emasculating, like the delivery of it. Like, cause he's happy, you can tell that this has to be his second girlfriend of life.
Right.
If it's not,
Exactly.
sorry, Justin. But like he's gonna do everything to make it work, as we can obviously see. And they're coming back from their retreat, and he's trying to see what's what. Decision day is coming, and she's like, "Oh, such and so said they were getting freaky. I wish I could do that. How dare you? You're in the bed with me every night. What are you talking about? Do something." What? And then
Mm.
you go on to continue and say, "You need a tutor for your thrusting? Aren't you supposed to be the tutor?"
But wait a minute, wasn't she out? Didn't she also say something about his stamina?
Well, he said that. He said that he was going to work on his stamina and like get on the treadmill or whatever. But
Girl,
when
is
you're
that
in
is
the
that how
beginning,
men? Is not to cut you off, but real
no,
quick, is that how men work on their sexual stamina? Is
listen, I don't know those men. I don't know those men. But
woo.
my thing is, in the beginning of a relationship, whenever you decide to have hot and heavy time, you're learning each other. Nobody just gets together instantly, and even if it's instantly magical, you still have to learn different vibes and rhythms and all type of connections. You have to learn that. So I just think that she cares nothing about his feelings, and I'm
No.
sorry to say I feel that she's just trying to make it to the end of the episode because we know now that The show is not playing. So if you guys are not together and together for real, they're putting you off the show.
Oh, really?
She don't want to be with that man.
Yeah, I do see that. I do agree with that, and I don't think that she's going to say yes on decision day at all. But that brings me to something I wanted to kind of I was listening to you and I didn't want to interrupt you earlier
Mhm.
when you said something, and I don't because I don't want to put words in your mouth because I don't like it when people do that to me, but you said something about he made the ultimate sacrifice, or he made a big sacrifice. I feel like the dog thing, first of all, is as big as, and as much as I love animals and I love dogs or whatever, that's not for a lifetime marriage for somebody, a person. Because I mean, I love animals, but I don't other animals, but I don't put them above or at the same level as people. And I know there are some people that do that, but I don't. If I found my life partner, I have two cats right now, and if I found my life partner and he said that, he was allergic to cats or he didn't like cats, I would seriously consider that, and I would probably say, okay, and home them with family members or friends or whatever I needed to do, because this is my life partner. Okay.
Aubrey.
Um, and I also say that this is a thing, like that's just one thing. We see that there were other issues in their marriage, and even though I will say this, I feel like Alexis tried to make the dog and the attack or the bite a big part of it from day one. Like as soon as they got back from the honeymoon, right? We know that she harped on that issue, much like Morgan harped on the whole, being a nurse thing, and the so many credits short of a BS degree. Um, Alexis harped on those things, but there are other things going wrong in their marriage. There are other
Aubrey.
things, so like I'm looking at it like, to me, on the one hand, Justin, for making this a big deal about he gave this ultimate sacrifice. I didn't even like that he said that, and I think it kind of shows that he's kind of not in tune with the relationship. Because what are you doing? What else are you doing? I've heard Justin. A lot of people may not remember this and may not, because a lot of people don't like Alexis. I know that, as far as viewers and even reviewers, they don't like Alexis, so they like to put everything to blame on her. But Justin, I've seen Justin in earlier episodes where he's cursing and he's being rude and crass. Maybe he's frustrated with his wife, but I feel like this: if you're my spouse, or even if you're my partner, if you're my boyfriend, my beau, we're in a relationship, please don't be cursing when you're talking to me. Even if you're saying you're not cursing at me, because I'm going to take it like you cursing at me anyway. You see what I'm saying? All of these F bombs and all this other kind of stuff. Calm down and talk to me when you come back, and talk to me when you're calm. Because if you
Aubrey.
can, if you got to do all that, no, 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 no. We're not having this conversation right now, because I'm already that right there is triggering me. Okay. And she did
Aubrey.
really well. Yes,
I
yes,
have to
yes.
tell you, I have to hit the pause button, because if you was with your life partner would most certainly love and respect you because you deemed them to be your life partner. Maya loves Justin way more than Alexis ever could. So that is definitely a sacrifice to him, because he looks at Maya like a person. He said it himself. Like, he is too close to the dog, and he's missing that affection, attention from Alexis, because even if you're getting fake love, you know that it's fake.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, I get what you're saying. In real time, I do see that the dog, has affection. They've got a longer standing relationship. But what I'm
Mhm.
saying again is just that in a real case of real love, and an opportunity, because maybe
Mhm.
you never know when you set out to be married. When you get married, you never know if it's going to be for 7 days, 7 months, 7 years, or 70 years, right? You don't really
Mhm.
know, right? We're all taking a gamble on love. But
Mhm.
I'm saying, but I would be willing to give up a pet. A pet is an animal. uh you know I feel human beings are a higher level of thinking, higher level of being and doing. I don't know of any dog or any cat that can cook a breakfast, balance the budget. They don't go out, they don't have jobs, they don't contribute to the income. I'm sorry. So that's just me saying that. And people are free to disagree or agree or whatever, but I'm just saying that I would not. If you mean to tell me if I met my perfect one, or a good one for me, a good fit for me, we're gonna make each other happy. I'm gonna allow two cats that I've had for a year, 2 years during the pandemic to override my love for a human being. That's kind of sick, kind of gross to
I
me.
definitely agree with you, but you got to remember when that happened with the dogs, him and Alexis had already butted heads a number of times, right? And then even now, when they talk about it, she's like, "Look, stop talking to me about this dog. I heard what you said about the dog the first time. You don't have to keep repeating it." Like if that would have been my last day with that lady.
What is you're a wordsmith? I know this is off the topic a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
someone in the chat, I've got a comment up from D. Speaking about Alexis being disrespectful and emasculating.
Mm-hmm.
$20 to the first person who can tell me what is the female version. Why can't I spell right now? Female version of emasculate, right? Mm-hmm. Because this is to a point, but
I
okay.
have a
But
few
anybody
words.
anybody in the chat? Oh, go ahead. I mean, if it's the exact version for women where a woman is emasculated, can someone tell me what that word is?
Do you want me to tell them the answer?
Um, you know what? I tell you what, come back in the comment section because I got $20 for you. Or whoever, we'll see if anybody in the chat gets it. If not, you come on back in the comment section when the video is ended, okay?
Okay.
Because I
I'll put
got
it in the
20.
private chat to see if I'm right, and you tell me if I'm right.
No, 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 no. Don't, no, no, don't,
Oh,
don't,
don't
don't do
tell you.
that. Yeah, I want to be fair. I want you to put it in the comment section
Oh, put it
because
in
if
the
nobody
comments.
the comments of the video, right?
Okay.
Okay, because save that and then you get you get your $20 cash app together,
Let me go
okay?
and head over to
Uh,
these comments.
you gotta wait till the video is over because let's see.
Oh,
I know
well, delete me.
we got some smart people in here. Wait a minute, let's see what is Latasha saying. I don't think she should have done that on camera at all. She loves to cut them down. She does. She does. Um, wait a minute. Women wait till marriage. That's how they don't know. No, Kirby, that's not it though. You can wait till marriage and you will still know about whether he will be able to please you. You should still know that because there are certain things. But I'm gonna do a whole video about that because that's a real factual, not story time, but real factual thing. Yep, yep. I'm gonna come back and do that. Okay, but let me get back down here to the newer comments. Okay. Okay. Latasha has a word. Is this maybe what you were thinking of?
That is the
Hmm.
word.
Oh, okay,
That is the
Latasha.
word.
You gonna have to Latasha, put your cash app into the chat. Put your cash app in there. I'm gonna have to verify that, but put it in there. And after this video is over, we're gonna talk about it, okay? And if that's the word, then I owe you $20, okay? All right. Stay tuned. No, that's not it. No, that word. You see what he's got down there?
Yeah,
No, that's not it. That is not it. Not quite. Not quite. Oh my.
that word is strictly the response. The That is the man. He's responsible for that.
Okay, wait a minute. Roro says, "Oh, is this? I don't know if that was in response to, Ellen, I'm getting so nervous. I don't even know what to say. Ellen, could you remove the adult dating site? Could we remove them from the chat or put them in timeout? Whichever one. It's up to your guys' discretion. I'll take whatever because I don't. That doesn't look right. Stay tuned says, can I get $1.95 toward my gas tank? Okay, but so we're gonna move on. I think we said about all. Oh, wait a minute. Was it this episode? Wait a minute. There was something else with a. Was there something else with Alexis and Justin that we wanted to say, or we're ready to move on? Oh yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to. Well, no, because they're not in. Okay, the gym, the gym. That's what I want to talk about with Alexis and Justin. So, what did you think about Alexis opening up to um, Stasha, Stasha in the gym later that episode? What did you think about that?
Listen, I think nothing of it, and I want to say more about the guys meetup because I have
Okay, all right, go ahead, knock yourself out. Go ahead.
um oh shoot, his name just left my brain. What is
Nate or
Nate?
Justin?
Yes, Nate.
Okay.
Nate gives me he secretly has a crush on Alexis. Because why are you so worried about her and talking about her all the time? Why?
A
Why?
crush on
He
Alexis?
always has something to say about
Mm.
her.
Now he does do that. He does do that. Okay, Stash, I'm gonna put that so I can see that when I come back to the video.
It gives
That
me
is your,
love tap vibes.
yeah, okay. He gives you what vibes?
It gives me love tap vibes. Like when you're in elementary school and you slap the boy you like.
Oh, girl, going back that far.
Yes.
I think that I think that, and you just brought up something in my head that triggered something. You know what? Maybe the resentment that he has for her, because I do think that some of what he's saying, a lot of what he's saying is his observation, and he's not wrong about them. So like when he says that she tells lies, I've already said that I believe that her and her husband tell lies. That's both of them. I see that in both of them. Okay. But I don't know that he so much likes her, but I'm gonna say this though, what you just triggered in me. I feel like he has a wife that is domineering to a degree, meaning
Mhm.
Stasha. And I think that because he can't get with Stasha the way he wants to, because he wants to live in that house built from the ground. He wants that, baby. He wants that because he wants to be able to flex and do them Instagram lives from that newly built house, right? Because he ain't never had it that good. That's the thing about it. He's never had it that good, and without her, he probably never will have it that good.
Ooh.
So I'm just saying what I see. I'm just saying what I see. And by the way, I have been over to his YouTube channel. But okay, so I feel like that maybe some of what he's giving to our girl Alexis is some of what he really wants to give to his wife, but he cannot, or he won't be living in that new house. You see? Because see, sometimes people deflect the anger that they have from one person who is the boss of them, and they throw it over here to somebody who they don't have to really worry about how he doesn't have to worry about whether Alexis likes him or not, because he don't have to live with her.
Yeah. I agree with where did it
Stay
go?
tuned. Stay tuned. Review says Nate is a straight shooter. He didn't care for Morgan either. The rest of the guys lacked the test. Okay, yeah. I do see that he kind of says really some of what needs to be said.
She was really messed up though. I kinda agree with Roro. Go to the
Well,
next comment.
okay, thank you. Nate probably thinks Nate probably thinks he could help her with. Well, you know what? Now you know what, to what both of you are saying. Sometimes we can not like a person, but you know what? Still be physically or sexually attracted to
Mm-hmm.
them. So you know what? It's interesting that you two are both seeing that, because there could be, and she is a curvaceous, vivacious young woman. She is all of that, and I don't know. I'm maybe stepping out on a limb here, but I feel like for Nate, I don't know if he's ever been with a beautiful dark skinned beauty like Alexis. You know, I feel like he's kind of kept it to those. Who was that girl he was with at the beginning of the episode? Like, you know, at the wedding reception, the girl that he took hiking, the little Barbie
The
doll,
Caucasian,
the Caucasian woman. Yes, I feel like he's kind of kept it to that level. You know what I'm saying? So,
probably, because you heard
hmm
what she was saying about him.
right. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, Alexis would be like, "Ooh, you know, I never been this exotic before." You know,
I'm quite
right?
sure they had heavy time in the hot and heavy time in the mountains.
Oh yeah, the Caucasian girl for sure.
Yes,
Because she was trying to assert herself too deeply into that marriage, like telling her,
yes.
"Well, I'm going to tell you all these things about, you know what, honey, you can't tell me nothing about my new husband. How about you just get on up out of here before I slap the off your face? Okay? How about that? How about that? Okay, B? You're not gonna try. And you see, Stasha got right with her. Stasha, we haven't seen that girl from that episode to this one, okay? And it's been like 12 episodes later. We have not seen that Caucasian chick. She gone she gone bye bye. But we better get on to this final couple. And we know that that is the Cray Cray, Lindy and Miguel. Lindy and Miguel, they are a mess. Where do we start, girl? I'm gonna let you lead this one. Where do we start with these two? Because we opened up and we're in the same place on the sofa with whiny Lindy Miss Entitlement, Miss Karen, you know, cries all the time, wants all the attention, and wants to blame Miguel. But I do think I have to say two things can be true at the same time. I did not like the way Miguel talked to her the last episode.
Mhm.
The retreat. Like, how do you plan this prom getaway for your lovely wife, and then you end up going off on her at every turn? You don't want to take pictures. You're too tired. Okay, so she asked the producers the next time to take the pictures. Then you're angry about that, and you keep telling her to read the room. Why should that lady have to read the room when you got a full mouth and a full PhD of vocabulary of words? Why should she have to read the room? Why can't you just tell her how you feel and what you need?
Well,
Because you didn't have no problem telling her you needed sex in the beginning, and that if you did not get sex within those first 8 weeks, that you were not going to stay with her. See,
ooh,
so I called it back then. I said you were an F boy, and I still feel like you're an F boy.
tell us how you really feel. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Um,
Hmm.
I feel sorry for both of them. As far as the prom night, I really want to know if I don't remember him speaking of prom, but I wonder did he go to prom or was he in the house playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Exactly.
Um, Also, they give me the perfect script for a Lifetime movie. I mean, he has
Ooh.
a mother who had it was schizophrenia, correct?
Yes, yes, that's
And
it.
then Lindy is giving off schizo vibes. No
Mm,
disrespect to people who are clinically diagnosed with that. Y'all know what I'm saying, though. She gives psycho vibes because
mm,
she's hot and cold within seconds, um, which is a trigger for him. But then
yeah.
he's controlling, which is a trigger for her. It just gives me a great Lifetime movie. They're on the perfect
Yes.
network.
Yes, they are. They are. You're right. You're right. It's that lifetime. Yeah, because something about Miguel, and I'm not gonna put this on his Latino machismo because I see a little bit of that popping out, but I feel like he's given, like, you know, yeah, to your point, I have not forgotten that his mother has schizophrenia, and I do have to think about this and consider this, that things run in families, right? And genetically speaking, it doesn't
Yes,
mean that he's schizophrenic, but it could mean that he has could be another mental health diagnosis or issue or concern, right?
right.
What I see it from her, and this is maybe because of my own diagnoses and my own understanding of my condition of having ADHD. I see Lindy also having ADHD. I really do. I feel like the interrupting of people, and she interrupts her husband all the time with something that's totally unrelated to the topic. I do that. I have done that. I think once you're aware of what you have, if you go see a a physician, a lot of people were talking about how she did not have health insurance, healthcare insurance. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but having been to doctors, therapists, physical therapists, and having talked to them, because I'm just that kind of chatty type of individual, I find that a lot of them have told me that they don't have healthcare insurance and they work full time. Okay, so that's the norm. You got to look at this country. One thing about it that we do not have, like other developed nations, we do not have universal health care, right? So a lot of people don't have health insurance, and it's actually a lot of people that work in the healthcare industry that don't have it. And why that is, now I'm not going to even pretend like I know or understand that, but that's a fact.
Well,
So,
I'm
but
going to tell
getting
you why I
yeah,
think they do. They don't.
why?
Because when we are in the medical field, I've been in the medical field since I was in the ninth grade. We
Okay.
know the truth about the medical field in America, which is that they care nothing about us. We are nothing but checks to them. So a lot of them feel like they can either self diagnose or go to a book or go to a physician friend rather than go rack up bills for somebody to tell you that it's a certain issue when it possibly could not be, so that they can put you on meds, put you on regimens that the state where you live will be getting paid for.
I was just trying to go ahead. You can continue on talking. I was just trying to respond to the comment.
Oh no, no, no. That's all. Because you know, and then you know, it's a whole nother story when it comes to us people of color, particularly men. A lot of our men don't want to go to the doctor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just
So,
saying in terms of not having healthcare insurance, so that going to the physician, going to a doctor or a clinic becomes
right,
it becomes a struggle if you don't have
right,
healthcare insurance, because
right.
let them run one test and that's already 200 some odd dollars.
Exactly.
I think I had healthcare insurance, full healthcare insurance, and but change, well, no, I'm sorry, kept the same physician, but um the insurance changed, and that insurance was no longer accepted by my longtime primary care physician, and
Right.
I was paying out of pocket for probably about a year, and it's not cheap. It is
Well,
not
heck,
cheap.
a ride in the ambulance is about $9,000.
Oh, well, I've been in the ambulance since I was like 20 years old. I wouldn't see a reason to be. I mean, like, of course, if I had a heart attack or something,
Right,
but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you don't take that lightly. If you got somebody at
right.
home, and then, because think about it this way, if you got a person at home that's able to drive, and you're having I know one person, a friend of mine, that was having, in the process of having heart trouble, and drove himself to the hospital and got help immediately. But if you got to wait for an ambulance to get there, no. I mean, you got somebody there that's got a car, just drive you,
Exactly.
let them drive you. But yeah, um, I just feel like there's a lot going on. I feel like he could have some struggles. I feel like there's some possible narcissistic tendencies. I feel like he sabotaged that whole prom weekend, honestly, because he does not like his wife getting the attention. And if you ever stop and think about it, if you notice something, go back and look at something. I'm gonna tell you what I see. He's one way with Lindy when they're alone, and he's a whole different way with her when they're in a crowd with the group. He's a totally different way. I don't like
Definitely
that about
high.
I don't like that about Miguel. I'm not liking that about him. I can see why he's been single. I can see why on her part, like I said, so two things can be true. Not trying to say that Lindy is so perfect, because Lindy, like I said, again, is struggling. I think perhaps with ADHD, and if not, she is certainly struggling with giving people the attention that is due them. Like, you can't have a conversation and you do all the talking but none of the listening. So she needs to work on that. um she needs to work on that. Everything is not going to be her way. What to a question to you, Nicole, what did you think about this whole insistence upon her that it's not a big deal for her to change her last name, but yet while she needed the insurance and that was a big deal to her, and she was cursing her husband out, which I don't agree with, so that she could get insurance, and he fell for it. Why didn't he respond then with the vigor that he responded with later when she asked him to take a simple picture? I don't get these two.
That's why I asked you the definition of gaslighting earlier,
Mhm.
because like I said, I don't really like labels, so I don't really pay attention to those definitions. Those are probably the only words that I don't care about because you know I am a wordsmith. But like,
Yes, you
I
are.
don't like labels. But when I hear the word being used, that's what I feel like Miguel is because he makes it seem like he's flexible and he's understanding, and then he just cuts it off. Like when he was like, fine, then just keep it like that. And it's like she's sitting here trying to tell you that she understands her flaws and she's trying to work on it. Now, whether she was being honest or manipulative in that moment is not the issue just yet. But she's making it seem like she wants to work on it with him. But he's not giving any. He's like, soon as she's vulnerable, he snaps at her, and vice versa with her to him.
Mm-hmm. I think they both have. You're right. I think they both struggle with hearing one another. And what I saw at that retreat when they were arguing, and this is, I am going back last episode. Yes, I am. But what I saw was that they kept going in a circle, chasing their own tails with
Mm-hmm.
one another. They were not hearing each other. It was like there's some kind of cyclical thing, like they just really weren't hearing each other, and that was kind of sad because she was over exaggerating everything, saying that every time I say something I'm wrong, I'm always wrong. Well, first of all, if you know anything about arguing and debating, you should never really be using the words always and never, because nothing is always exclusively this and nothing is never that. You get what I'm saying? Like you always make me angry. Well, no. If that was true, you wouldn't be smiling and cuddling on the couch half the time or having a hot and heavy time. You know what I'm saying?
And can I say
There,
something about that?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Coming from a person who used to do that, that comes from being a spoiled brat. Okay?
That's what I see in
I
both of
am
them. Yep.
spoiled. I'm still
Hmm.
spoiled to this day. However, I'm grown now, so I do understand that everything's not going to go my way. However, that's a small percentage. But she is a spoiled brat, and that is the people that says, "Oh, I can't do anything right." Because you want this person to stop telling you what you're doing wrong. You don't want to take accountability for what you're doing.
Right.
And you're exactly right. They're going in circles because I felt like I was watching the same episode from the previous week, but reversed because
Hmm.
she snapped on him. He said he didn't like how she said it, so she began to say it was a joke. This time, he snapped at her and he's like, well, I didn't mean it like that. You did mean it like that. That's why you said it like that. Like, be honest
Right.
with each other.
Exactly. And I think is some of that, and now here's a thing too. Here's a question for you. Is
Mhm.
some of that you think for the camera? Do you feel like maybe and for
No,
TV audience? No, 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 wait a
no.
minute, hold on. Well, okay, let me at least get my question out so the
Uh-huh.
viewers can understand what I'm saying, even if you understand it. Do you think that some of that going back and retracting what they said could be for the viewing audience? Because I also think that some of these things that we see are performative because they do realize that these cameras are on and cameras are going to play to people all across not only the country but in other parts of the world, and people don't want to be seen as bad people except for Elise from last season. Okay, she's the only one that didn't seem to mind being seen as a bad person, but most people really do care about their representative and about their reputation. So I'm just wondering. And you say no. You say no, that
Nope,
you don't think it's that.
no.
Okay.
Both of them are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I think they're both strange. I agree with that. When the guy said he played Dungeon and Dragons, I was like, okay, okay. He seems to have picked these things up because we know that also it's a lot of these people. I don't know if that's the common denominator this season is that people are struggling with parental issues, mommy issues, daddy issues. We know that, like you said, he dealt with mommy issues because his mom was unavailable to him emotionally and at some point even physically because she suffered from schizophrenia, unfortunately, right?
Mhm.
And not making light of that or small of that, because I actually have in my marital family, I have someone that suffered from schizophrenia, and that's a very, very serious
Yeah.
condition. So I feel like he has these issues, just like going back to Nate. Nate has mother issues because his mother abandoned the family, and apparently, we found out this episode that his mother was also a lot younger than his dad, which I suspected that too. So not only was there a cultural difference because she was Asian and his dad is African American, and she came over to this country with the dad, I assume, but they didn't stay together because she was younger and she liked to party and she didn't want to raise the children, right? So I don't know. I just feel like Lindy needs help, Miguel needs help. I feel like I see some of the behaviors in him that I've seen in narcissistic personalities before. And I'm very afraid of him if he's acting like this on camera, kind of much like Elijah from last season. What must he be like when the cameras are off? You
I would
know,
like to say something about that.
go ahead. I'm listening.
So let's break it down a little bit, right?
Yes, let's.
His mother, like we said, had her issues, right? So a
Hmm.
lot of people who are big time gamers, they use video games to escape reality, right? So
Hmm.
depending on the game you choose and the game you get into, I know you guys have seen it, whether it been on YouTube or you know a gamer in your family. Once you have that headset on and you are submerged into that alter universe, do you hear how they talk to each other? How
Mm-mm.
they act towards each other? And it's like this is his lifelong game, Dungeons and Dragons. This is not something new. Like he's been playing this. So, we are creatures of habit. So even though you're in this game and you're talking crazy, because let's just be honest, Dungeons and Dragons is about killing and making villages and that type of thing, right?
Mhm,
So,
unaliving. Mhm.
oh, sorry. Um, so you can't just turn that off once you take those headsets off. How you talk to people and how you react to different things, because this is you. This is who you've
Oh.
developed into.
I see your correlation there. Oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
because he's serious about that game.
Wow. Yeah, I was just responding to somebody about this whole thing too about Miguel and Lindy. And I was saying too that I don't think that Lindy is anywhere ready to be a mother, but Miguel seems to want a baby right away. And yeah, high vibe, exactly. Exactly. Who said that? Nicole. Yeah, Lindy and Miguel, they do trigger one another. That's what I see also. I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't know. I do not know about these two. They are some kind of special wacko to I mean strange to me. They're just different. They are cray cray. And I wonder if it's all about the bedroom antics. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes people become infatuated with one another because they are good in bed together, but they're good nowhere else. Not in the living room, not in the dining room, not working out the budget, not trying to figure out who goes on whose healthcare insurance. Well, apparently she doesn't have any, so he does. Or let's talk about this real quickly before we wrap it up.
Mhm.
What do you feel about her and this whole decision? He wants her to take his name. I mean, like, didn't she basically kind of like bargain that chip that she was going to take his name if he got her the healthcare insurance, and now she has the card, and now she's still quibbling about that? Did I misunderstand something?
I think that he was the one still quibbling because she specifically said, "I'm ready to hyphen our names."
Hmm.
And that's what I'm saying where he snapped because he's like, well, you can keep your name if you want to. She's talking about doing what she said she was going to do. And because she said the hyphen in it, you have a problem with it. It's like those minute details. So what are you going to do when something huge transpires?
I don't know. I see what you're saying. I had this come up before when I was discussing marriage.
Mhm.
But to take someone's name and hyphenate it, you actually create a whole, as this person told me once long ago, you actually create a whole new name. So it's neither your maiden name and it's neither his name. You see
But
what I'm
wouldn't
saying?
that
So
be
you're
a good thing? Because you are
uh,
one, you're becoming one, and you're
uh
making a new. Gene
Okay.
pool of your people.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this. Whether it's good or whether it's not good is not the assessment that I was trying to make, but it's an observation that one, you're creating a new name. That's one.
Mhm,
And I think if you think about it, you agree that it is true. That's you seem to be agreeing that you're creating a whole new name. So not your old name and not his old name, but a
mhm,
new name that you're creating together. But the other part of that is, though, I think for most men in this country is that they're going to want to name the child after their surname. And now, like, what is that thing now? You've got Jones Smith over here hyphenated,
I
his
thought
last
that most
name.
people just do that to them, the wife, but not the children.
Right, but that's going back to my point. Now you don't have, now you and the children don't even have the same name. What sense does that really make? What sense does that really make? I don't know. But my thing is, I think that most men feel very strongly about this because, and this may be part of it, in my,
Mhm.
this is my opinion, it's a possession thing. And I mean that not in a bad way,
Mhm,
but in a husband covering way. You have now been brought into his family. You are now he is covering you with his name. He is covering your children together with his name. But to be out there and you've got created this whole new hyphenated name. I'm just saying, I'm not a guy, but I'm just thinking that some men are going to think of it that way. It just creates different issues down the road.
This is
So
what
I
I.
mean, it's something to consider. It's just something to consider. I don't care how people work it out. You can keep your own name. You can do whatever. I'm just saying, I think that women, while we have a viewpoint, and we, today's modern woman has this viewpoint, I think that you still have to think about a thing, that if marriage is actually an old institution, people are going to feel traditionally about the things that go along with the marriage, i.e. the
Mhm.
name.
Yeah, I think that the word that I hear a lot of men use is not um, possession, but it's legacy.
Legacy, same thing in my opinion, but okay. And I
I
guess
don't
that's,
think
you're
so.
right. Maybe no, you're right. I stand corrected. You're right. That's more accurate. That was
Mhm.
a word that I was searching for. But a legacy is something that you do possess. Okay, so you
Yeah,
cannot have
definitely.
a legacy. Yeah, yeah. So you know what I'm saying. So that's kind of where I was going with it. I could not think of the right word, but so I
Mhm.
agree with you. I stand corrected.
No, I was
Also,
asking.
but listen, that's what I'm saying. I don't mind taking other people's opinions, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a legacy, right? It's a
Mhm.
legacy. And I don't think that when you start, again, to my ex's point, when you start hyphenating your name with his name,
Mhm.
it's no longer my old name and it's no longer his name either. So he's
Right.
looking at it like, girl, and I do feel like, again, I just have to say this, as modern women, we have to be aware and have self-awareness and awareness and empathy for other people, i.e. the man that we're going to marry.
Mhm.
And that's why these conversations are so important while we're dating, as we're courting, as we're getting to know one another. What actually, if you start thinking about, you're serious about a person and he's serious about you, what actually is his vision of marriage? What does that look like? What was it like when he was growing up? Did he actively see a marriage in front of him, i.e. his parents, or was he raised by a single parent? And if he was, but what would that have looked like? What does he think it's like? Does he have friends that are happily married? You know what I'm saying? Because I think we all come at marriage with different eyes and different viewpoints of what's normal and what's happy. And for the other person, that might be something that doesn't really fit in with their view or their vision of marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, and then that's the catch-22 of married at first sight, because of course before you get married you need to really have these conversations and time, and so it's like, what do you do once you've signed up for the show?
Right, right. It's a whole thing. And who was it? Justin's brother that initially said in the early episodes that he didn't feel that his brother Justin was ready to be married. Now, he didn't say
Mhm,
exactly why, but as the time goes on, we see that Justin is falling apart emotionally. He's crying. And somebody said it earlier, well, he doesn't care about looking this way or that way with all the crying. Well, I think as a man, he should. I think he
Mhm.
should, because guess what? You as a man, if you're my husband, you're representing our family. You're representing yourself to your coworkers, to your our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to be my protector, I don't think anybody's going to be afraid or intimidated by a guy who's always falling apart emotionally. You can't be my protector if I'm actually emotionally stronger than you are. You cannot. You cannot be my protector. And I think that one of the things that Alexis felt like in this marriage was that she was always having to overcompensate for him being,
Mhm.
like you said, him being the more feminized version of what, traditional feminine values, and her being having the more masculine values. She was always playing the role of his protector.
Mhm.
That would annoy me. I couldn't. I'd been like Elise. I'd been like, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah,
Peace out.
definitely,
I
definitely.
can't. But
And
but
Kirby
tell.
is actually absolutely correct. It's you would be
Oh,
surprised how many adults are playing these virtual games with what you think that where kids are supposed to be. Because I have a 9-year-old daughter. I have to watch everything she does because these games that we think are for kids,
mm-hmm.
no, those are adults
Really?
behind those avatars, and it's not safe.
Oh, you mean like the games that are online that you're playing? The
Yes,
kids
like
are. Oh, yeah,
Dungeons
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
Dragons, Roblox, all those type games.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Hey, Condessa, how was the marathon? Did you kill it, girl? What was your time? Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. What? I wish I could have been down there today. Um, yeah, we had here in Detroit, we had the free press marathon, which is a biggie.
Oh,
And my
nice.
girlfriend, Condessa, she actually ran in the marathon. She did the half marathon, and I'm so proud of her. I think this is like her second or third half marathon. I'm gonna get there with you one day, Condessa. I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna do a half marathon. But if you will be so kind, Nicole, before I say Alexis, tell the viewers where they can find you, what you got going on, what you got coming up this week. Would you please tell them?
Oh, well, if you want positivity, education, um, the deep conversations, you can catch me on hashtag on everything. Tonight on Tipsy Talk, we have a second parter of like who likes you, and if
Ooh,
they
really?
don't, be
Wait a minute.
okay with it.
Wait a minute. What time is that coming on, dear?
It's at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time over on hashtag on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to let your hair down and you want to laugh and you want to get a little messy, then you can meet me on the Nicole.
Mm-mm. Well, I want to see what. So the topic is. Say that one more time. The topic
The
is like
topic
who.
tonight is like who likes you.
That is
And
so
if they
hilarious.
don't,
Uh
be
huh.
okay with it.
Be okay. That is so funny because you know what? That I don't know if you know, you probably already know this. That's an old saying, at least from my way of thinking, because my
Yes,
mother used to say that.
yes,
Love who loves you, like who likes you. My mom
yes.
taught me that growing up as a young girl. If a boy with the curly hair is not looking at you and not giving you the time of day, stop looking at that old curly hair boy and look at the guy with the coily hair. I mean, with the afro, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The curly hair boy does not like you. Get over it. Move on. Do not twiddle your thumb on somebody that's not giving you the time of day.
Right.
I say that all the time because we see on even on Ready to Love, some of these women are flipping out, doing back bends, back twists, pretzeling themselves like, oh, he's so cute. He's my type. He's my but guess what? He don't like you. He don't like
Mhm.
you like that.
And far too often, women and men dumb themselves down to be accepted by someone who they think is their type.
Wait a minute,
So
say that again. Say that again.
I said oftentimes,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times it's us as women, but men do it as well. Dumb themselves down for the person who they think is their type.
Right. I'm just in here. I gotta thank our wonderful moderators. They are so wonderful
Yes, I
dropping these.
love Miss Monique.
And Ellen V
And
too.
Miss
I
Ellen, yes.
know. Yes, they are just so wonderful. And I gotta say, guys, I want to thank you if you stayed till the end. If you're catching us on the replay, however, drop some purple hearts down in the comment sections. I am going to reach out to the young lady who got it right about the opposite, the female version of being emasculated, because I've been asking that question and nobody until today was able to really answer that question for me. So I really thank you for that. I'm actually Aubrey. We're here every Sunday at 4:30 with the panel for Married at First Sight, and we're going to be coming right back on in a few minutes. Oh, we went overtime today. We'll be coming back at 6:30, guys, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Back here with the Ready to Love panel. This week is the finale, so we are going to be talking about that, and we'll see you back in a few minutes. And with that, guys, we are out of here. Oh.
Bye.
Say bye. Yeah. Bye, y'all.